costs.
What about first about illegal immigration? Does that increase demand for housing and make the cost of home ownership go up?
I think that's a distributional question. I think the question we're here to talk about today
but does it make the cost of home ownership go up?
We're here to talk about housing supply today.
We're here to talk about home ownership and the cost of owning a home. You're a bright man. Does that make the cost of home ownership go up when you increase demand that much?
I think that's a distributional question.
You don't want to admit it, do you?
I think that's a distributional question, and the problem that we're facing
with
is
all due
housing
respect,
supply.
I think you're being disingenuous. Let me ask you, Mr. Pinto.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a recent Senate hearing that's got everyone talking. Senator John Kennedy just dropped some truth bombs about the housing market that you absolutely need to hear. Buckle up, because this is going to be eye-opening. So picture this. Senator Kennedy's sitting there, looking sharp as ever, and he starts grilling these experts. Pinto, Williams, and Shikarchi. He's asking them about everything that makes owning a home more expensive. We're talking electricity prices, property taxes, homeowners insurance, you name it. And let me tell you, he's not pulling any punches. But here's where it gets really interesting. Kennedy asks about home maintenance and repair costs. Now we all know these can be a real pain in the wallet, but wait till you hear what comes next. Suddenly Kennedy drops a bombshell question about illegal immigration and its impact on housing costs. You could feel the tension in the room. The experts, especially this guy Williams, they're squirming in their seats trying to dodge the question. It's like watching a high-stakes game of verbal dodgeball. Now hold on to your hats because Kennedy's just getting started. He goes after the Biden-Harris administration like a bull in a china shop. He claims their policies have turned the dollar into a 75-cent piece. Can you believe it? But he's got the numbers to back it up. Get this, Kennedy starts throwing out these mind-blowing stats. Mortgage rates up 123%. Homeowners insurance premiums up 16%. And your electricity bill? Oh, just a casual 28% increase. It's like he's reading out the script for a horror movie, but it's our real-life economy. Just when you think it can't get any crazier, Kennedy unveils the grand finale. He talks about this thing called the International Energy Conservation Code. Sounds boring, right? Wrong. This little regulation is set to add nearly $4,000 to the price of a new home. Talk about a hidden cost.
Mr. Williams, if the price of electricity goes up, does that make a house more expensive?
Not in a direct sense, but I mean, electricity is an input to a lot of things, both on the construction side.
It makes home ownership more expensive.
Sure, yes. And
all right, if property taxes go up, does that make home ownership more expensive?
Sure does.
If homeowners insurance goes up, does that make homeownership more expensive?
Indeed.
If interest rates, particularly mortgage rates, go up, does that increase the cost of home ownership?
It does.
A lot, right?
Depends on a lot of factors, but sure, it could.
When you own a home, you're going to have repairs. If the cost of home maintenance and repairs goes up, does that make home ownership more expensive?
Indeed.
Okay. If you, whether you agree with it or not, if you admit 10 to 12 foreign nationals illegal into your country, all of whom need housing, does that make the cost of home ownership go up?
You know, I think that all of these questions and all of these inputs to housing costs.
What about first about illegal immigration? Does that increase demand for housing and make the cost of home ownership go up?
I think that's a distributional question. I think the question we're here to talk about today
but does it make the cost of home ownership go up?
We're here to talk about housing supply today.
We're here to talk about home ownership and the cost of owning a home. You're a bright man. Does that make the cost of home ownership go up when you increase demand that much?
I think that's a distributional question.
You don't want to admit it, do you?
I think that's a distributional question, and the problem that we're facing
With
is
all due
housing
respect, I think
supply.
you're being disingenuous. Let me ask you, Mr. Pinto, if you increase immigration by 11 million people, does that increase the cost of homeownership?
Senator, yes. We've tried to figure out what that impact is.
I mean, duh.
Yeah, but the federal government doesn't publish where they're distributing these individuals around the country, so we can't do the kinds of experiments that we normally do.
It causes homeownership to go up in some places.
But we can't figure out exactly what it is. We'd love to.
I'm not
we
here
need
to
the
play
data.
games. I'm here to try to get some answers.
But if you could get more data, that would be great.
I'm sorry?
If you could get the data released by the federal government as to where.
I'll give you some data. Mortgage rates are up 123%. Premiums for homeowners are up 16%. The average electricity bill in America is up 28%. That affects the cost of homeownership. No wonder people can't buy a home. This dollar, thanks to President Biden and Vice President Harris's inflation, they've been inflation machines. This dollar was worth $1 when President Biden and Vice President Harris took office. It's worth 75 cents today. That's the fundamental problem with home ownership. The other problem is government regulation. Look, the HUD and the USDA recently adopted the International Energy Conservation Code. Do any of you know what that is? Okay, well, I'm not going to ask you because it's going to take time. They recently adopted the International Energy Conservation Code put out by the International Code Council. And the Biden-Harris administration just said, they just told HUD and the USDA to adopt it. So if you want a HUD or USDA loan or access to the housing assistance, you've got to build a home that complies with the International Energy Conservation Code. You know how much it's going to add to the price of a new home? $31,835. Are you kidding me? You know how much energy you're going to save?
Senator Kennedy, you're well into Senator Padilla's time now.
$657. We need to start with the basics, folks. It's inflation that's killing our people, and it's this crazy whack job regulation.
And there you have it, folks. Senator Kennedy laying it all out on the table, exposing the real reasons behind our housing crisis. From inflation to immigration, from energy costs to sneaky regulations, it's clear that the path to homeownership is getting rockier by the day. Before I sign off, if you found this breakdown eye-opening, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. We're always bringing you the latest and greatest in political showdowns and economic revelations. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Until then, keep your eyes open and your wallet guarded.